السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد رسول الله وعلى أهل بيته وأصحابه ومن عمل وعلم بما جاء به صلى الله عليه وسلم. In the beginning, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created us, created the world, and entrusted us with the responsibility after giving us all the necessary powers, skills, acumen, intellect, powers, and prowess to be able to manage this world. All praises and glorifications are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we solicit His blessings, prayers upon Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the greatest of the great, the redeemer of mankind, the source of blessings and guidance for everything in creation, and to his household, his companions, and whosoever knows and applies whatever he has brought to us from our Maker and Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the beginning, I think I am obliged morally to express my heartfelt gratitude to Fagami for undertaking this very important socio-spiritual, political, humanitarian undertaking, all in one. By just devising a program whereby they bring youths in the Gambia and even beyond the Gambia and engage them in one environment in order to at least nurture some level of spirituality, intellectuality, morality, name it, whatever is good in man. I mean, just to nurture that and to make sure that that person realizes his humanity, whether she or she is a youth or not. I must express my real heartfelt gratitude, and I applaud them for that. The entire executive and the entire membership of Fagami. And I must express my gratitude once more for their reposing a new confidence in me personally to come at least to share my thoughts with you on the topic that they have given me, to discuss with you. That is the topic of the role of Muslim youth in global and national peace maintenance or peacekeeping. Well, as he rightly said, the youths are the fuel and the backbone of every human endeavor. In whatever society is striving to achieve, the youths are the central elements and components. If you are able to not to make the youth into a robot or a machine, in the sense that you give them a personality or a character, whatever you ask them to do, they do it automatically without even being conscious of what you ask them to do or the consequence of what you ask them to do. But at least the program that is currently undergoing in this camp is really something that is central to understanding the meaning of being a youth in this global village. especially if you are a Muslim youth, either a male or a female. But before I go further, I want to ask whether it is okay, because sometimes sitting and listening to somebody speaking to you through a language that is not a mother's tongue that you learn in school, it is either below the level or above the level of some of the people sitting in audience. So I want you to tell me whether you want me to go into Mandinka Wolof and even Arabic if you want, then just conducting everything in English. It is your right. You have to choose. Huh?
So you blend Mandinka and Wolof?
Yeah, because personally I don't see any logic or any wisdom in using English to talk to or to speak to a Gambian youth. Ni Mandinka kan wala be diala baka wala suwa kan wala jola wala fulu, but anyway, sa blend sa nyami. Na mara be Mandinka kan mo la kodi? Jam fana be ya mo. Okay. Huh?
So much okay. Calm down.
Yeah, Mandinka with Wolof, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Funding Kea, anim funding Musia, Namin be for a manjar Namurwakam, but if funding Kea, anim funding Musia, a mankeko imudinding wa mintide, a mankeko you are below the age of 18 or you are 18 to 20 to 25, no. Neka daw, nekut na danga neka xale bo xamne am nga at yo amne 18 years or 20 or 25 did it. You know, to be a youth is one, you must be somebody who is very active in your thinking. Ike mira nyamin, ajante kela mira nya kendote. You must be very constructive in your conceptions. Ika femmo femmira, ajante kela fennati mimbe fen kuto bondira kamolo nafa. And you must, in whatever you do, must be dynamic and effective in what it produces. Fengo feng itaba kela, hali tabiro musolo kutubumo kono, wala hali natara albesal la dutole kan kambanolo wala albita lo nyinole la, anyanta kela fennati minyanta fengo bondi la mimbe molo nafa. Wala tinda ni sunkudu ni wata marseto ay tabiro ke marse kutubumo kono. Tabiro ni mandia ni alondi molu tema ni adomo mol buka me domo role ka wudile hani ma fa mandia ni aye ma be bang amandia. The same thing atol kambanolu na tata alia football club wala alia football oke albe say kandan al janjanta killing kilim ba fanson siloka, each and everyone is walking his way own way. Straight away you know that they are beaten, they have not achieved any victory. But if there is victory for their time, for their team, all of them will be marching together and shouting. So anything you do as a youth must be constructive. This is the fundamental basis to be a youth. It's not about your age, because you could even be 60 years and yet you are youthful in your thinking, in your production of ideas. Because ideas runs this world. It is not your biological majority. Let's say, for example, in the Gambia, we would always be singing 95% statistically are Muslims. But that number, that figure, and that percentage, is it actually reflecting in our social life, in our political life, in an academic and intellectual life? No, it is not. Then it is not about biological numbers, it is not about statistical numbers, and it is not about a majority or a minority. This is why throughout history, from Adam to the last man in this world, in fact, righteous people are always in the minority. Good people are always in the minority. More better Bukasiano. Beri Adam kana fo mo la ba min betal in dunya mo betol Bukasiano. Walakin the Quran daiman the majority are always reviewed. They are always opposed by the Quran. ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون. ولكن أكثرهم لا يفقهون ولكن أكثرهم لا يؤمنون. So the majority is not something that you count one by one to 95%. It is about the value, not the quantity of 95%. So kuwaku funding kel nyanta kela ay manyan na kela ka fay tolle siyata bon ibe min kela abe mina bondila nafa femola moli wala asabu nko funding kel la do ko ilo dula nyanta kela minati nyen kammala ka tanko anin ka kiso sabatende duniya kono anin ifangol la banko kan bari akamunta ko fa agami no fegami kebal from hamo warata bake. They have a very high aspiration because we have not even exhausted peace and stability in a community, much less in the Gambia. But now your attention is global. You know why? Because the entire human system is interconnected. I'll tell you one very important example. Imagine Alkali yirol minjaja ibenin bedamin sirinja. An example is ninduta juo. Ninduta juo felejan abe muntole banjulinde. Do you know that ninduta juo is impacting on the environment even in America? Do you know that? Ninduta juo feleja abe jang banjulinde. But ninduta juo alaya so sembo min ase America be jamfari nyame nin duta juo ala tinya anala tinya bali ase futa America because dunia bebe sikiren julo kilin ne bala oto fondin kella do dula be kala minati nyin kammala ka kiso nin tanko sabatinde ifawliya anin dunia be kono dun to nyalo Gambia fondin kelu ninge mutano ne londi silo la silo mimmo islam wala siloti foye kiso wala peace and security ya tembendi the whole world will be secured and will be in peace because Gambia funding keli asuto but minon peace ti and minon security walakinna in every Muslim community, not an Islamic community, there must be a difference between what is called a Muslim community and an Islamic community. A Muslim community is a community whereby the members of that community, all of them, are subscribing consciously and obeying consciously the laws and the prescriptions of Islam. ولكن Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam Medina, a Muslim community ledadaje under a civilian constitution. But among Islamic state deda, because Yahud will be jailed, Christian will fanan be jailed. But an Islamic community is entirely composed of Muslims who are consciously obedient, who are consciously loyal, and who are consciously abiding to the principles and the teachings and the directions of the Islam. This is the difference. Wala ya sabu muslim wal be kafu kono ni tolle sembo soto. Fen dantonne bije fo wal sataraje is called the concepts, or let us call it the 12 concepts. Mira tang anim fula. Ni beje dawda, that community is not an Islamic community, but could be it's not a Muslim community, but could be an Islamic community. The Gambia could be called an Islamic community, but when you go to a compound where everybody is subscribing to Islam practically and consciously, in mind, in soul, and in body. You know, our problem sign in the entire globe, Muslim wala problem momenti, until we have divided Islam into three and disconnected the three. Walakin we are having even problems, disunity among the Muslims. Because Islam has to do with your mind, and Islam has to do with your soul, and Islam has to do with your body. And all these components are in one body, one entity. Then these things must be in a harmonious relationship between the mind and the soul and the body. yaje muslim wala problème o fawon be mun beti annamuru ala la kitabo to be muruna nan mambandi de ka fo masalan be kacamen nan be muruna nan de fondin kello dula barin lafita bunda bare de dalal ye jannim be futala woto walakin ala brai adama de dal alayhi salam ay min fo malaika wal yako wa id qala rabbuka lil malaika inni khaliqun basharan min tin aya danyale fo ye min be betiyala from mort bara hakilo ayade da muntumale ako fa idha sawaituhu wa nafakhtu fihi min ruhi wato wakata munti an-nafsu lisul wakata munti niyo wato alay niya kabala saban jamu minati wa allama adama al-asma'a kullaha, it is the mind. So nin fensa bo man dada mo buka dada no. This is why Muslim world we are having all the problems. After Quran or Quran al-Kanaki, there is no peace, there is no stability, there is no security between the Muslims of today. Katu alay min fanyam make. ولا تكونوا من المشركين من الذين فرقوا دينهم. The Islam is completely disintegrated. There is always a nominal Islam and there is only a formal Islam. But Islam of the mind, Islam of the soul, Islam of the body combined together, molu nyinatala. And the reason why Islam anata dunya ka hadama di modeda, it is based on these principles. Islam anata ka hadama di mo follow ka hakilo deda ka mina bondiji what is called superstitions and uncertainties. Islam anata ka hadama di mo forayandi hakilo nyin kamala hadama di mo kanatara balurin talin o kono anin akanatara balurin kafoko nte malom be kala nyani wolof to where wolof fok mo duga ci olof nak limay wax mom li moy problème nak this is min ayatihi khalqus samawati wal ard wa ikhtilaf alsinatikum wa alwanikum inna fi dhalika la ayatin lil alimin. walakin na kan fati janjang olof la olof fo mo wa olof tuuti mu ne na dugal ci olof li may wax rek mooy doomi adama yàlla nim ko bindee yàlla ñetti jëf la def ci doomi adama yëpp dañ war a nekk loo xam ne dañ xam dañ leen a yar soo yaree benn bàyyi benn bi rek du baax da ngaa yar xel gi yar moom ruuxam bi nga yar yaramam bi lu tax yàlla bi mu bindee Adama mu ne Adama suuf la ko bindee suuf boo xam ne dafa am ndox tiin mood bi mu jógee foofu mu defaral ko yaram bi mu defee foofu mu defaral ko ruux bi mu defee loolu mu jàngal ko mu ngi mel ni xel gi ak ruux bi ak yaram bi yëpp dafa war a liggéey soo bëggee am doomi Adama bu baax oto nin wakatan ko islam o naata ka hakkilole deda islam o naata hadamadin o aniyo ala takade da ñaadile islam is here to liberate the human soul from sin and corruption. Hadamadin o niyo ñin kammala kana tiña ñin kammala hadamadin o niyo kana junubo bara doron islam o naata nin ne kam sabanyaw muminati hadamadin wala conscience ad-damir moy yoyay kan sa nafs to free the conscience from oppression and fear pour ñin kammala hadamadin o kana sila ko ni ngani ko ke be ni la lanka ay tara balwurin ko hadamadin o ka balu nyaani bari nani jaw muminati islamo nataka hadamadin o balu kenda yande ñin kammala kurango kana muta against disorder and degeneration woka kenyadi de akay ko nim famo betiyata dongo akay ko nim famo man betiya kana dongo oto islamo ni anatani ne kamma ka hadamadin o deda but minimum peace and security and the role of the youth fondinke do dunya ndawi naka lañ wara taxawé pour ñu jappalé wante aduna gi ak Gambia ak yow suñ fu nga dëkk du mëna am fitna naka la ko ndaw yi mëna defee ñu dem ci diine gi al islam foog naa islam ci boppam The word Islam, what is the meaning of that? Is anybody here who can tell me the meaning of Salima in Arabic? What is the meaning of Islam? Most textbooks and dictionaries will tell you, okay, peace, thank you very much. The meaning of Islam, look at this very young man, look at this very tender age, is able to tell you Islam is peace. Because Arabic, the root word is salima, yaslimu, salaman, is purity, peace, security, and cleanliness. All this is contained in this single word. So the Muslim, it is the active form of the verb, Muslim, which means you are already secured to an extent that there is security between you and your creator, then everything else in this world is under your security. You will not harm anything in creation. Allahu Akbar. Islam ulum deen what it means, I think there is a defection of meaning. Understanding this deen is the problem. The word Islam itself, in Arabic, when you say aslama yuslimu islaman, that is to surrender and to submit and to give in and to live accordingly. But when you say salima, it is secured, it is at peace, it is maintained, it is protected, and it is completely clean and pure. So this is the meaning of Islam. This is why Sabu, Islam way sometimes need a definition of Islam la. Well, as the young man has correctly said, it's peace, it is purity, it is cleanliness. All this is contained in the root Salima, al-Islam. Allah says, Inna Deena Inna Allah Islam. We know what is Deen and we know what is Islam. The word Islam is derived from the word peace and security. And this is why they always go together. Islam and Iman. And what is the meaning of Iman? Can somebody help us here? If we know the meaning of this word, we will easily understand the role of the youth in maintaining and preserving and nurturing global and national peace. What is the meaning of Iman? Somebody would tell you to believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, there is no problem with that. It's a correct definition, but it's very narrow. The word Iman is more than that. It's more than believing in the unity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Iman must go with security. They go together. Al-Islam wal Iman. They must go together. One is general and one is specific. Which one is general and which one is specific? Islam is general and Iman is specific. This is exactly. They must go together. This is why in the entire Holy Quran, you will find that to see the importance of Iman and Islam, from which we are going to take the meaning of peace, because Salima means peace and security, and Iman means purely security. There are two securities, external security and internal security. Which one is internal and which one is external? Is it Islam or is it Iman? Iman is what? Internal, and Islam is? This is why when Fir'aun was drowning, what did Fir'aun say? Amantu annahu la ilaha illa amanat bihi banu Israel. Amantu, Iman, internally. And the second one is wa ana minal muslimina. It is not true. Because he has already tortured and caused harm to befall the children of Israel in Egypt through his policies. But for Iman, internally was there. He knew that there was no escape. Then compulsory, out of his own instinct, he has to believe in the unity and the power of Allah. But when it comes to Islam, it's not there. You know why? Because Fir'aun was harming the children of Israel in Egypt through his policies. This is why you cannot determine the level of Iman of somebody But we always tell each other, ite mukafiru leti, ite mantara Islam okono. We do that. But we cannot tell somebody, ite manke mu'min. You cannot do it. Because Islam has something to do with the external existence, and Iman has to do with the internal. This is why the word Iman is even mentioned in the Holy Quran almost 850 times. Look at the importance of this word. Security, internally. This is why anywhere Allah is mentioned in Amalul Salah, Allah would say, Hudan lil muttaqeen alladhina yu'minuna bil ghayb wa yuqimuna as-salata wa mimma razaqnahum yunfiqun. So when we know the meaning of Iman and the meaning of Islam, we have two ways of understanding it. Islam, when we say social Islam and we say personal Islam, or we say social Iman and personal Iman, what is the difference? Allahu Akbar. We say the word Iman is from Amn, and Amn means security. Why are you called a mu'min? Because you are secured. Are you not secure? Because you believe in the unity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you are a mu'min. Because the security of Allah is upon you. But you are asked by Allah to give that security to anything that is near or even far away from you. So the word amnu means what? Security. And whenever security is disturbed, and whenever peace and stability are disturbed, even in the Gambia, the entire global system is disturbed. A good example, let me give you for you to understand. Majorlen, mbana example better what yalla pralia understand. 2016, this is not politics, this is an example. 2016 after elections, there were some problems in the Gambia. But Nigeria is how many of thousands of kilometers away from the Gambia? But why did ECOWAS took it upon themselves to send soldiers to the Gambia? Because any problem, any disturbance of the peace in the Gambia and the stability in the Gambia will automatically affect the entire sub-region of West Africa. So this is why there is a global system, a unified global system of peace, security, stability, and what they call it, tolerance. So funding kelu ninga along Islamo form peace with yourself. But let us ask ourselves, the current Muslims or the contemporary Muslims, are we really at peace with ourselves? No. We are not at peace with ourselves. Are we secure enough? No. A policeman, a paramilitary, a military man, an electronic gadget, a CCTV cannot provide security for you. Security can only come through your connection, through your very, very pure connection with your Creator. And that connection, the impact is felt by everything. This is why even the environment, you must give the environment security for you to become a true mu'min. Walatinna mol min ka yirol kuntu. E ka dafamol fa, e ka kunolu fa, e ka balito fa mol la silol kam. E ka dajel ni hakol fa buke sare. E ka dafamol bula silo ka min fata fa ka toli. Wo molu be ila limaniya dasata because kila ko yele ko imatatul adha min at-tariqi min al-iman is security. So latinna nin ko funding kella role in global security ninna mo introduction or these are the basis. Now we are going to a higher level, how you are going to be part and parcel of the international system so that you contribute in maintaining peace and stability. After knowing that you are a Muslim, everything around you should be under your protection because you are at peace with yourself, you are in a security with your Lord, then everything else must secure from you. Walakin Hanikila Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in an authentic and very, wise saying, who is a Muslim by definition of the Hadith? Who is a Muslim by the definition of the Hadith? That's the definition of Islam. But what I mean, what is the definition that Muhammad has given to Islam, al-Muslim, the active subject of the verb? Man salim al-Muslimuna. Very simple. This is security. But ask yourself, let each and everyone ask himself, are we secure enough? Are we Muslim enough based on this definition? Are we Muslim enough? No. Let us not fool ourselves. You don't deceive Allah in religion. You don't go into deception continuously with Allah. You do it with your fellow man. But this hadith has given you a very clear explanation of who is a true Muslim. Man salim al-Muslimuna, or in another sense, when you make Muslimina an object, from the harm of his mouth and his hand and his mind. When this thing is completely put in place and in context, we get what is called security and stability. The Balukan Dunya Minto Sang is very difficult. We call it the internet age. Jamano binyo dunda da pambeti, jamano internet la. Te hamnañ ne jamano internet, ñun as Muslims, as a community, we have no production that we put in the internet. And the internet is giving us as much and even more than we need. The internet is giving us more than we need. Internet will be min di kan tolula, wala siyatan tol solata men. Ayatinna fa internet will come in dinna kube tolu. Nobody cares about kube tolu. Everybody goes for the bad ones. Internet will wala tinna fango fa nada na tambita. Min tambita je abuka nafasu akamol torale min ka wata. The internet is giving more than we need. And because of that excess, we go for the excess which is bad and we leave what is good. How are you going to be part of global peace? It's very simple. Be at peace with yourself through your religion, Islam. Be in a security with your Lord, your Creator Allah. Do as Allah asks you to do according to the way Muhammad explained it to you. And don't even sell your independence and your freedom to anybody. We are living in a world, funding kelu, when the problem warata bi dunia kono, but at the same time, funding kelle nafa warata dunia, every problem that we are in the world, the youth are in the center. But every solution in the world, the youth are in the center. So munatin nabi funding kel nyanta mina kala puru etoliya dunia be tenkuwa mimbe dunia ya thenke. One, we have to understand one thing. Islam is based on concepts. Funding kel, this is very interesting. Islam wa belori miro lekam. Wa mira follow mominati al iman. Ko iman koto mominati security. Lan lañ wax ñu ne iman moy lan? Moy lo xamne dafa tax loran ka di ñëw ci yow follow ni wotu da dani wa hadama di mo internally ite ka tara tanko kono le ini fawo e ka tara tanko kono ini mario molu fana mini be balu kam mo kunda e ka wol tankale ka do ite fawo, you are at peace with yourself. Ite ka sonkol mini be moy dunia ye momo moy abe sonkol nin kelo wala musolom. He or she is not in peace with himself. Walatinna animolu ka sonka. But sonko te bala hadama di wal competition on the baluka wal. Walatinna limaniya be dawda peace ka sotoje. And the second one is albir. Wolum ka ku kendo siyandi. Funding kelbe kafula nyaning, maintaining global peace. Even if you are in the Gambia or you are in Banjulindin right now. Albir. Namira Quran o jantul beka Quran o karana. Momo laftayalo, what is the meaning of albir, righteousness? Go to the Quran, chapter 2 of the Quran, verse number 177. Ya karambang Quran wa kafa damin laysa albirra an tuwallu wujuhakum katafu wa ulaika humul muttaqun. Ni tata woto ibalon dale, what is birr is righteousness. ku kendo be niya konte almost 9 or 10 jika kendol min be aya kilimo kono momo ya suto doron ebe security kala dunia kono. You know, you don't need funding a role in global security. You don't need to go to United Nations or America to participate in security. No. You should be in the Gambia and maintain peace and security here. Nkonyadi al-iman. Nkofulanja minati al-birr. The other one is justice, the sense of justice. Ita funding ke yonda ubidanga wara hamlan moy jub. What is justice? What is justice? Justice is the most important thing. Because without justice, there will be no world, there will be no human being, there will be nothing. Because Allah ko ay sawanim banko de la bil haqqi tunyal. Walakin hani annabi yomo min muman saketi. David, Dawood, Allah kayla ko ya Dawood inna ja'alnaka khalifa fil ard. فاحكم بين الناس بالحق. Justice, al-adl. Justice, funding care, faise killing. You must be just. You must speak justly. You must defend justice and you must propagate justice. Nadi ninke dorong. Ika problem o min bebo dia dunia kono. Somebody has denied someone else of his rights and has caused injustice against that person. All the problems in the world, modo nakari ahakola, wala katin na songkol kaki. But if you stand for justice as a youth, you are contributing to what? To global peace and to national peace and security. And from there, innamal mu'minuna ikhwa, Islamic brotherhood, or what we may call existential brotherhood. We need each other. Don't say I am self-sufficient in knowledge, in money, in position, in tribe, in my, you don't do that. You have to be somebody, miya lonko ite mari ye momoje, hadamadin wa atale bunyayati. Ya hadamadin wa hadamadin ja ala hadamadin ya bunyadiyala. Ko gisido mi adama joko chiram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this deen is very clear. But unfortunately, one of the causes of problems and instability and lack of peace in the Islamic community is some people have already enthroned themselves as supervisors over us. Imam Mobula kafo moli ko ibekela ten. Inna Allah yahkumu bainahum yawm al-qiyamah fima kuntum fihi takhtalifu. Halema dimo fonse nyonne kanu brotherhood. Nini momu badin wati ibuka ngani jawo sotala. Ibuka koma kuma. Ibuka kujo farm. An example is peace. To maintain peace, hani koma kumaro ka peace tinyala, hani security. Niyamo koma kuma sakombe jamano minto social media. Everybody is backbiting another. Everybody is insulting another. As if the Muslims are completely ignorant of Surah Al-Hujurat in the Holy Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in 6 verses ayamaro dinda nyantabalu la nyaming in the 21st century in 2024. It is in Surah Al-Hujurat. From Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tuqaddimu bayna yadi rasul. Verse number 13. Ya ayyuhan nasu ittaqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum. Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. This is the 13th verse of Surah Al-Hujurat. It is called the Global Universal chapter in the Holy Quran. Ya apply ila baluwo kono, peace and security is maintained. And the other one is equality. What is equality? Wolong kakanyang, mo kana modang. But you cannot bring about equality if there is no equal opportunity. Sababu mi ibadi la molula abeke kilimoti. But in the Islamic community, let me tell you, sometimes a student of all ala credit call be mu fail isatara scholarship odiala but student to me along ko credit pass excellent isatara mantara ta kandula the opportunity is not equal. So when we say equality, give to each according to his talents, according to his ability. Moye minno wadia la equality ki kana mol fatam kana fisamante yake molu tema ala mawoke molu tema. And the other one is, your religion ila dino ye bulaminna. You see, Muslim molu nyantalon na kwa Islam ala meaning is what? Peace, security, cleanliness and purity. But this can only be understood if we apply the directions of Islam. But Muslim molu ka Islam of one dalela. Nkake jadu wala kono anim misirolo. Anim nimbe tarila walambe kwa. No, we don't do Islam in our personal and in our collective lives. We don't apply Islam. Wherever Islam is, there is always a global peace. And the world will never know peace until and unless the principles of Islam are applied in the United Nations. I don't mean to force people to take Islam, la ikraha fi din. I mean the principles, because Islamic principles are universal. They are not local and they are not national. You get my point? So walakinna dino abdawada dino kana kenafikiyati na diyate yake wala nila nafabi je yake nila nafati je yake kwa mimbe kerimbi molu la nafabe dami they quote the Quran and the Hadith and say we support our position with that. Wakafitin wala mala, it doesn't bring any security. And the other one is, how do you see the world as a Muslim youth? Ye dunia je nyadi. Ite ka dunia je juwe nyadi. Because ikamo ele Muslim model funding kero. Isafu dunia man jarnina ba ombe falale. No. Kana okele miroti. Ni okedoro, you are just disturbing the peace and stability of the world. Because every human being has a mission to do in this world. Mo nata dunia inata fenela hani dena no I mission le soto ni dena no nata dunia I mission le soto whether baluta wala fata. You know why? Ni dena no nata munati nang na kodo ka bonding ka panketol ni dulino ni subosan ngonka kulile fonte I mission le soto kana dunia jube ka foka danta tele kilinela inyanta dunia jube la positively wala munti akata hali nata reta siobe kala sanji tan sabaleti sentu dunia yeta yiro fi dunia londo tu dunia dinkendo tu dunia kuma kendo tu dunia ni tata wobe bulale no mala woto ila dunia ni ba jube la kana fako dunia man jarala afako dunia jartala le fatam bitala walakin mol min ka fo dunia man jarala wo mol le ka foga ja dendikol ni motol dun tolbe wala be mol foga ja motol because we never think dunia manke woti alay dunia de dale pour na dunia balu nate ala batu kala ya maroki jam so yaje ni mirol minne dante nim fondin kede nulu mute balu tala tonya ibe tanko nin kiso kala dunia kunna nim bota woto nata ala la kitabo kono nyin kammala wato be mbulu ba hanin biba 11 minutes 11 minutes nata ala la kitabo kono kata jube kiso nin tanko kummaya ta nyamin alaya ala fita hadama dimol sako muslimol ya kummaya ndi nyamin nyin kammala duniya be ta tankun molta ta ala batu e se londo nyini e se do kuoke e se duniya yir wandi e se civilization and culture isa balon ninta ta suratul baqara ala aya keme fula ani aya nani kata ala aya keme fula ani aya sey nin sorol ta ko yata de ani qur'ano kono e ka fo soro mi ye suratul nisa musolla soro ala aya kan konon to ani aya nani ani soro mi ka fa suratul anfal nin kelo keta mol kana fulo min soto ala aya kan woro ani aya kilin ninga ning ayolu karanni fahamu mbalon na le muslimo sako fondin ke lodula nyanta kala minati pour ka tankaro ke kiso la anin tanko duniya kon yima wax ni ci Qur'an bi yi ay buntala yo xamne aya la ku ko xam di nga wara xam lan moy njeriñ ni surwa kama fana mbuka kam batandile le ka tongo peace fo nyaadile peace and security surwa kan woto jama ak salam nakala wara xewe ci doomi adama yi surwa nte ba mu surwal te bara kam batandile bari na moy le so problem mo be damin walakin is very good muslim wala muri la qur'an ko ani muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam be balu kanyani محمد برانا مدينة صلى الله عليه وسلم آياتنا كريستيان والبجيل آياتنا يهود والبجيل بل أكبرين كمال كيسو أن تنكون ساتيكون for development, for unity, collective security, and for maintenance of peace and security for the individual and for the group. I mean again, I come down with akomolu be la dino topato. Bari nimmu molu be tati molu be yo kafu kan yedo ko kewal bari nimmu mo kun kilin watati e fana yo tamandi fanway bari mo nin jawo kana kafu banta pour aliya sate kel muhammad ya madina alwatan sallallahu alaihi wasallam so walatin lindula kuma ya tabake pour fondin kel ya moy muhammad ya o min ke makka wala madina bidiya konta sanji kemejelu sanji wuli kilin sanji kemenani tannani anin lulu and it is still affecting and impacting on global peace because afelen ba kacha kanja afelen da miro janjan kan pour mole balwala so wala ya sabu annamrun ayoto ala ko yako wa minan nasi man yujibuka qawluhu fil hayati dunya ويشهد الله على ما في قلبه وهو ألد الخصام أيوة فلو تجلد على كمودول بيجي ولا ديامو كيت ماري كونتان ني كوماتاي كي كونتان الدنيا بلوكوت دني وماري بديامو لا واتو واتي أكافلكو على سيدياتا كوندا سوندو موبي بتيارين بل على كو هاني أكو هو ألد الخصام. That is the most vehement individual in altercation. And this is what is happening. And this is what is happening. Nimmo kilim alaka wa minan nasa ma fo mokari akolaka wa minan nasi. It could be anybody yesterday and today and even tomorrow. Because Quran okay karandile puri kana fenke. ولكن for the youth to be part and parcel of maintaining peace and security. Ibe fango fole dara. Mol kakala kontan ko kariye diamo nole no. Don't do that. Kana alake wallahi be kalila alala. Make sure that it come in for a dollar. I tell you for the benefit of yourself and for the benefit of your community and for humanity at large. Madam Falia Moy. ala tale wo mo kidi mo mi akafo wala ma nyamu minati ala ko wa idha tawalla ako wa sa'a fil ard liyufsida fiha wa yuhliku al harsa wan nasl wallahu la yuhibbu al fasad ko hana liyan so tati min so ni ayo damma bo isoke ni ayo dindin wal nimbe na fala baki ala ko wo mo sifa kidi mo ala mataman sero mu minati ni ba kawandila abuka song akamineke ate wato wati yaje wato wata abe bisiring but ala biso muminati li yufsida fil ardi to cause corruption in the land. Ntoli yamira Gambia corruption is only kakudo sunya. Corruption tambita wotile. The word corruption is mentioned 49 times in the Holy Quran, but only a human being commits corruption. Corruption man betea because corruption ka hakilo le tinya aka balo le tinya aka niye le tinya corruption ka hakilo ti nyanyadi le e ka information o di mola mimman correct e ka peace ni security le ti you corrupt the mind. Corruption ka niyati nyanyadi le e ka dire londi dolu nati mimman ke tonyati ka di mola dindi wa aka dunga kodo aka ke munti a terrorist or an extreme individual o manke dinoti corruption ka niyati nyaten bari corruption ka baloti nyanyadi le domoro mi expire yala expiration date bondi ye date kuto bala gambe wal ya do mo ibalo be ke chupototi anin kuran anin toto molbe fala doro nka fo ala le molfa ala ba molfa wala molfa. This is corruption. So walakin na peace katinya nyali peace manke kido da mati ka molbung wala ka famota bi muro anim bero ka molbung. Peace of mind, information, terrorism ka terrorism ta ka ke kibaroto kanyon koma kuma kanyon na ngaibo bonde is part of terrorism mi ya lon ko aka peace tinyale fondin kel alkana kafu social media la nendi role kono alkana kafu social media la nyon ngaibe fimol mi badada kam. Don't be part of that social media. That is wickedness and evil, and it is part of Satan. Ala bina falali munatin manyan nakina social media yaje dawo da be tinyaro ke kan the mind, the body and the soul kala kafuje. It is not Islamic. Katu Islamo man la fala Islamo man la fi moka mo ngai mo tambita wala walaqad karamna bani adam ala ko indeed we have dignified man otonite na tawo doya ala miya fanke kawale doya malam fana kuma mai nimmo kilo ala ko la yuhibbul fasad wa mo kilo wanika ko wa idha qila lahu ittaqillah nika ko silang ala wala munti be conscious of God, be conscious of Allah ragalan yalla minatake akhazathu al-izza bil ithm Omari, because I junubo min bara fastiyata hadamadi wanameta junubo kono. Social media is the problem of the youth of the 21st century. Social media long funding kill the problem word. If we are able to tame and control, organize and direct and maintain a very good Islamic social media, we will be able to control the youth. Funding kill more man social media control. It is control lano. Because kibaro being negative kibaro is more than the positive you are giving them. 24 hours they are exposed to negativism, and 1 hour they are exposed to positivism. And when the mind or the conscious brain stores what is called a positive information, when the power of negative information comes, akabe bondijel. So we are living in a very, very difficult time. Sandem bandela. Ni ko do mari ya marla yala kamina foyi because ala junubo siyatale aka fon wara min katina akhazathu al-izza wala munti bigotry and haughtiness. He sees himself as big. Funding kil alkana ke wanyama ala ko nyaadi wo mari la yankan katwa ka ko yata bato bil ismi ala ko junubo ya tinna mari buka fenke. But ala ko mari yankan kati bale ba nyato abe laban nadamin wala bi'sal mihad ala bandula be jaw yala bal. But at the same level ala funding kelu ala fela akalkili ako wa minan nasi man yashri nafsahu ibtigha'a mardatillah wallahu ra'ufun bil ibad. Oto gambia funding kil anyantani neta ala ko moldo bije miliyalon ko they just sacrifice themselves to get the contentment of Allah, because Allah is always benevolent and compassionate with his servants. Oto funding kil nalinta albemina kala ala yini everything you are doing ibe koku kala along for you want to seek the blessings of Allah nim wonten drum problem o be tarlaje. Baraye bande woto ay minalaji Allahu akbar anna ala boya ka mem fanyi akonya ko ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ako idha darabtum fil ard atin wa ayolum isn't it suratul baqara wala suratul nisa alim ma koy bam Suratul Baqarah alim ma koy demanding sometimes doctor ko nyaadi network ko kanale when we are speaking too much.
In which verse? You said can start the verse.
Yeah, it is verse 204 to 208. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُ اتَّقِ اللَّهَ أَخَذَتْهُ الْعِزَّةُ بِالْإِثْمِ to the end وَلَبِئْسَ الْمِهَادُ أَقْوَ مِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَءُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ أَنَاتَاكُ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا حافظوا الْبِجَنَّةِ isn't it? What is the next verse? Nkadami nyine wala ndaftaw jelela يا أيها الذين آمنوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة. This is the context. Nkani nanyini saying ala moja ni mu Qur'an wala ya marwalati wala tattabi'u khutuwati shaytan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin فإن زللتم من بعد ما جاءتكم البينات فاعلموا أن الله عزيز حكيم. الله أكبر. andol fanan be ke baya kan network ko kanalte bodem ka murundi na natural yem mako jannom kuotin kaminyin alko peace and insecurity isn't it nko Islam by definition is peace and al-iman is what? Security. One is external in relation to everything surrounding you, and the other is internal in your relationship with your creator. I have 2 minutes. And let me just close the discussion with this. Allahu Akbar. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu udkhulu fi as-silmi kaffa wa la tattabi'u khutuwati ash-shaytan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin. Alako atol mol minia lonko you are already secured. In translations we read ya ayyuha alladhina, all you people who are believers, but that translation need to be reviewed. That translation needs to be reviewed. This is not, a haphazard or a random rejection of what is received or accepted. But the word amanu, it is a verb. And believers is a noun. You cannot put a noun in the place of a verb grammatically. Are you with me? We need a lot of review. We need a lot of review. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Oh, you those who are already secured by what? By your iman with Allah, and by your iman with yourself, and by your iman with your neighbor. 3 dimensions. This is called social iman and personal iman. It's just like in grammar. You have what is called a transitive verb and intransitive verb. A transitive verb has an object, and intransitive verb has no object except with an article. Malum falkam moylema ni ko nali pa dokola anin nali pa imankiling bri ko nali pa dokolam joram wati yali pa minna bari bri ko nali pa ima fa yali pa minna fo se fengo tofo walakin nan se hakilo tu jam translation wal mimbe caring, most of them are by Indian scholars. But when we review it, diligently, we found that there are some, it is not their fault, it's based on the skill. All you people who are already secured, udkhulu fi silm, all of you must go into that situation of peaceful existence. Because silm is from salam. It could be peace, it could be Islam, it could be purity, it could be cleanliness, and it could be unity at the same time. Malam fale nim kumo moyla. Atol min dankani ata albeta peace kon al instability. Wala tattabi'u, you know why? Katu alako wala tattabi'u khutuwati shaitan. This is the meaning. Al-kanabula shaitan wala sinnolu noma. Shaitan wala sinno aka keloleke, keloka peace tinyale. Shaitan wala sinno aka koma kumaroleke, wakabadiya kuntule. Shaitan wala sinno aka sunyaroleke, wandi fangwa ikawale domo. Shaitan wala sinno aka tindaleka jutu molula, ikie fangwa alako aba wastakbara wa kana min al-kafirin. Iblisa mankuto. Oton kanabula Satan wala mankuto noma. And the youth are victims. You are victimized by the power of social media. Dalom funding kill, we need to redeem you. Ningwanten jamano bina funding kill albalbulo posila alka kaburol posi ka voke baleko. Had we know, we would not do it. I'm quite sure of that. The internet age is moving, it's not moving backward. ولكن نجعل خطوات الشيطان على إنه لكم عدو مبين. Then the word يا أيها الذين آمنوا security is the opposite of enmity. Security is the opposite of animosity. Security is the opposite of hatred. Security is the opposite of maliciousness. Security is the opposite of sinister. And security is the opposite of, grudges and malice against your brother. لا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين. Satan is an open enemy to you. The internet could be a big Satan, bigger than even the world. But at the same time, this internet could be the best of friends, depending on how you use it, depending on how you know it, and depending who gave it to you, and depending the material you get out of the internet. Alama alayhim beke kuma kendo moelati, alama alayhim beke kuma kendo baralati, alama alayhim ninkafo balundi aya sembentu yandi. Dindi wal mimbi jang kumo min anin kuluwa alama alayhi tuwakang soma ifanan sadi minikana akana ke jamani kiliye kudi masoto jamana doye. We must make sure that what is received here in the course of this campaign is transmitted to the outside world, in your compound, in your towns, in your villages, and in the entire Gambia. And the influence and the impact or the produce will impact the world globally. We have global peace and global security. When we reach here, we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.